everyone, and welcome to the 253rd week of Harmony Plus webinars. Okay, so today's topic is canceled. How will the College Board's new test policies affect college applications? And today we are going to have three speakers. So Mr. Robin Holm from Crosspoint Academy, then my colleague, Cathy, who is a senior consultant at Harmony Plus, as well as myself. Just a little bit about Harmony Plus. We are an official partner of many leading universities and institutions like UC Berkeley, SRI, San Jose State, and we are absolutely committed to providing outstanding programs to students, both locally and internationally. Okay, so our approach is pretty unique. We have our hybrid learning platform, including education and service. We have online programs mostly these days, but also offline when there's not a global pandemic going around. Synchronous and asynchronous services. We combine theory and practice. And some of our characteristics are receiving guidance from top instructors, from top universities, and also receiving endorsements from them. We do all of this so that we can help students build a competitive advantage and enjoy continuous improvement. Okay, so future planning is a cornerstone of what we do, and the results show. So here are some universities where our students have been admitted. So we have some top ones there, as you can see. So now I will let my colleague Cathy introduce our guest speaker.
Yeah, it's my honor to introduce the guest speaker, Mr. Robin Hong, to everyone. Mr. Hong is the superintendent of California Crosspoint Academy, and a graduate from UC Berkeley and University of Pacific McGeorge School of Law, and then get master's degrees from Biola universities. Is a doctor of the education in education leadership from American College of Education. So Mr. Hong has 32 years of private high school teaching and management experience, with unique insight into the high school curriculum setting and course selecting. And also he taught AP courses for many years and has an AP exam reader certified by the College Board. Furthermore, a few days ago, he joined the meeting from in College Board and get some further information which were introduced today to everyone. And another one is my colleague, Ms. Calla. And Calla is our senior consultant and help many students, hundreds of them, to getting admission to their dream colleges. Ms. Calla got the master degrees from Stanford University and have the Bachelor of Art in German, Chinese, and East Asian Study from U of Wisconsin-Madison.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Cathy. Now, I guess I should introduce you, right? Okay, so Cathy is one of our senior consultants here at Harmony Plus. She has a PhD in literature from Wuhan University. She was also a Freeman Foundation Film Research Scholar at UIUC. She also has been certified by UC Berkeley to help students with their college applications and career planning. And she is very experienced, over 15 years of experience in the college application industry, helping students get into their dream schools. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started with our feature presentation. Here is what we are going to talk about today. So first, you guys are probably wondering, what exactly are all of these new SAT policies? So first, my colleague Cathy will break it down for you. Then we will analyze how this will affect college applications. Then we'll talk about how students should change their standardized test plans. And finally, we'll talk about the increased importance of other aspects of the college application process. Okay, so Cathy, first things first. What are these new test policies that College Board just enacted?
Yeah, and since the College Board announced their new policies, many students and parents discuss about it, and consultant and think about how to adjust the student college planning for that. First is the canceled for the SAT2, or we mean SAT subject test. And this is the official announcement from the college. We are no longer offer SAT subject test in the US. And so if the student already registered for the SAT test, they will refund money to the student. And this policy were active at once. So there is no more SAT subject test from now on. Another one is for SAT 1, SAT 1, as we know, only UC required for the SAT with SAT, and many other schools are just SAT is optional. And so far, College Board announced starting from June this year, 2021, and there were no SAT option for all the SAT tests. So this is another one. And for SAT, is that we were thinking about and have a flexible SAT test. Some students, and maybe they were have the online SAT test. Maybe they'll give it a try, because the SAT has been canceled many times in last year due to the pandemic. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I feel like putting the SAT online will be like the final frontier, because like TOEFL and IELTS had some online sittings too, but the SAT has not done that yet. So I think some students might be pretty excited about some of these changes, maybe less tests for them or fewer tests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, so a lot of people were talking about the SAT, discontinuing like the subject test and the optional essay, but also there are some new policies with AP exams too. So could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, this is the after they canceled the SAT 1 essay and SAT subject, and then many students said maybe they were focused on develop an AP test, and then a few days later they make an announcement for this year. I mean, the coming in May they will have a SAT AP test. Or maybe they have 2 test times, and then they announced will be the full length test. And comparing to last year, as we all know, last year we have the college will offer the test online, but each test, I mean, subject only 45 minutes. Is quite short. And so for this year, they will offer full length test. And we highlight some part in red. This is very important for the student. If you want to prepare for the AP test, you need to know this is a full length test. You'll cover more intense for the test than ever. Okay, and for the specific schedule or date for the test, I think they were announced in early February. Is that correct, Ms. Hong? Yeah.
Okay. So basically, just because these tests are on, or that you might be able to take it online, doesn't mean it will be easier, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, sure. Okay, and then why did College Board change these policies in the first place? Why now?
Oh, okay. And I think maybe, yeah, we discussed about it, and maybe we get some information from a different area, and then get feedback from the schools. And so first one is that the SAT essays is optional so far for many colleges. As I mentioned, only UC required the SAT with essay, but most of schools, as I said, yeah, you can take SAT without essay. And then, so since for this year, SAT is test blind for the UC application. So yeah, I think it's natural for them to cancel the SAT and essay option. And for the second one is SAT 2. I mean, for SAT subjects, many schools such as MIT, Yale, Caltech, CMU, the schools before they announced, and you need to submit 2 to 3 subject tests. But so far, due to the pandemic, and they said they make an announcement, and yeah, this test sub optional, or they're no longer think about this test. So yeah, I think for the SAT2 subject, most of the subject kind of the same as the AP one. For the AP has more subject than SAT2 subject. So yeah, maybe they can focus on AP instead of SAT2. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I'm wondering, Mr. Holm, could you maybe provide some more insights, since you were just in contact with the College Board? We'd love to also hear your insights about why they changed some of these policies and what your predictions for the future might be.
Yeah, thank you. What they said at the College Board sort of orientation when they rolled this out was, what is listed here, but there definitely is a trend away from the SAT, and especially the subject exams, because the AP exams have been playing such a bigger part. And so I think the colleges and the College Board realized that the AP exams are really more accepted by the colleges and more accepted by the students. And so I think there's just a greater movement towards the AP exams. And so I think that's why they're just decided that with the need to have more testing seats available, because so many of the exams are being canceled, that it was just better just to eliminate the subject exams and just go with the SAT and then rely more heavily on the AP exams.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of students previously, before this was announced, were asking me, well, do I have to take both AP and an SAT subject test for things like biology and chemistry that would have both? So, well, now I think they kind of solved it for us, right?
Exactly.
So, okay, now we have some numbers here just about SAT subject tests versus AP exams. So I will let my colleague Cathy explain the trends here.
Yeah, as for the number of SAT subjects, and we have 20 in total. For AP exam, we have 38, so much more than SAT2. I mean, and for in the 2020s, and almost, 4.75 million students took AP test, while a much less amount take the SAT subject test, and that's why maybe they can cancel it right away. Then you can move more space to SAT1. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, these numbers are very telling here. A lot more students taking APs.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, Mr. Holm, in recent years, are most of the students at your high school taking APs versus SAT subject tests?
Yeah, that's definitely been the trend. AP exams are definitely becoming more popular. I mean, there's lots of different advantages that you get from it versus taking the subject exam. So APs have been much more popular than the subject exams.
Okay, so it really seems like the trend seems like a pretty reasonable decision here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now that we saw the numbers and now understand the policies, how exactly will this affect college applications? I know a lot of students are studying so hard for all of those standardized tests, not just the regular SAT or ACT, but also like APs and previously SAT subject tests. So how are things going to change? Cathy, could you maybe provide some insights?
Yeah, I think for the college admission, we think maybe regularly they're thinking about the students' standard test and grades and extracurriculum activities, rec letter, interview, and other, and other facts. For example, if it is a first generation and all low-income student, and yeah, etc. And for this one, for standard test, before we have SAT and SAT subject and AP, and so far we have SAT or ACT and AP test. And furthermore, many schools announced for this last year or even this year, maybe SAT or ACT is test optional. So which makes less important for this part. And meanwhile, maybe other parts make more important than ever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a few numbers here. The UC admissions before and after 2020, what they've been focusing on.
Yeah, we have a pie chart to comparing them before and after 2020s. And before we have the left side, and then I think for UC admission, and they pay more attention about the GPA and test score. And so far, the test blind. You can submit an AP test, but no SAT will be taken, I mean, as one part they're considered. So at this part, maybe actual curriculum or college essay make more important than ever than before. So this is for UC admission. And for private school, I think the same thing happened. And so test score, usually they take less part than the UC admission, or we can say it is more public universities. But even then, in this situation, the test score, this part became less important than ever. So same thing.
Sure, so it seems like some really big changes here. Okay, so, since we don't have subject tests, how should students change their standardized test plans?
Yeah, and maybe some students, since the SAT or ACT is kind of a tax optional, can we just ignore this one? I don't want to have the test prepped, so I don't want to take the SAT. So as far as the consultants, we just encourage a student to take SAT or ACT test before you apply for the college. And meanwhile, we encourage students to prepare for the AP exams. So Ms. Hong will give further information about that. And then we need to remind the student, even the SAT essay is not required in the test, but the student will prepare another way to show their writing skills. And actually, some of the colleges have such kind of requirement for the student to show their writing and achievements, such as Princeton. So, and then maybe we can show the next slide, and we can have them.
Okay, so yeah, first I'd like to ask Robin, just before we transition to the writing and AP portion of this. I know a lot of students at Crosspoint Academy are very high achieving, get very high test scores. How are they reacting to all these changes, and what have you been advising the students at your high school?
Yeah, that's one thing that again, we have sort of seen that the trend over the years has been to colleges have been saying they wanted to do a more holistic evaluation. And so they've sort of been de-emphasizing test scores and really emphasizing the personal statements and the extracurricular and things like that, and then other factors that go into it. So they don't want to get locked into just GPA and test scores. They really want to put a greater emphasis on those other areas. And so this is just one more step. And I think the students, I think, like tests because it's very concrete, whereas the holistic, you're not really sure what colleges are looking for. So it requires a little bit more research and a little bit more background, I think, looking at each college as to what type of applicant they're looking for.
Sure. Process is maybe a little bit more mysterious, we could say, when tests aren't emphasized as much. Well, thank you for your insights. Okay, so something else that has recently been happening, maybe in the future, more and more universities will do this, but some universities like Princeton want to evaluate students' writing. So how can they do that?
Yeah.
Kathy, would you like to share?
Yeah, actually, so far, Princeton and Brown asked the student a graded written paper. So this paper needs need you to submit a graded essay or homework from the school assignment, and the school assignment and the head teacher graded, and then you can save it as a PDF file and upload to the college application form. So this is a requirement. I think maybe this is another way to for the student to show their achievements in writing. Yeah. And yeah, I think with the essay part canceled, maybe some other schools will have the same way to to fit in this part in the application form, especially for supplement the essay as well. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, now let's talk about APs, because this is, you know, one type of test that's here to stay, it seems like. So Robin, we'd love to hear more about this, since you have a lot of experience with the College Board, as well as teaching AP courses and being an AP reader.
Yes. I think one of the big differences with the AP test and the SAT or the SAT subject exams is that the AP tests are not designed as admissions tests. And so it actually is designed for a slightly different purpose. It's used primarily to test students for their ability to take college level material and then, you know, pass an exam. And then most colleges will give them college credit. And so it's not actually, was not really designed initially for college admissions purposes, but what has happened over time is that colleges have found that the AP tests actually serve a very good purpose for college admissions. And so they've looked and they've done a lot of studies and found that students who take AP exams and do well in them really indicate, you know, that they will succeed in college. So it's a very good way of predicting whether a student will do well in college or not. College admissions officers also like looking at AP exams because, again, it is pretty much uniform across the world. And so it's a way of comparing high schools and looking at their curriculum, looking at the academic level of the school itself. And so AP exams have become a way of not only judging students, but also judging schools and the type of programs and the academic environment that, you know, the school has. It provides a quantitative measurement, you know, whether a student scores, you know, anywhere from the 1 to 5 scale, but it also is quantitative in the sense that it's very very precise in how the exams are graded. And so it's a good way to compare students against each other. It's a great indicator for resiliency, and it's measuring not just how well, let's say maybe a student, you know, crammed for a test, you know, a week or two ahead of time, but really it's also an indicator of, you know, can they do college level work? You know, can they do it for an entire year or entire semester and really put up with those rigors? And again, lastly, again, it's to demonstrate subject knowledge and to show whether students really can handle college level material. So that's why colleges really look favorably upon AP exams, and why I think they are becoming more popular and more in favor in the admissions process.
Okay. Wow, that really makes sense. I didn't realize that they were so useful in all of those areas for college admissions. So how exactly will they support students' applications moving forward?
Right, so AP exams, again, support a student's college application because the AP courses themselves are college level classes, and the curriculum is very standardized. The College Board tells you what things that you need to cover. And so colleges have a high degree of confidence in the level of teaching. They have a very high degree of confidence that, hey, if a student does well on an AP course, that they are ready for college level studies. And so it shows again that a student is ready for high academics. If a student takes AP courses in several different areas, it shows that they have versatility. They're not just smart in physics, or they're not just smart in math, but they're very versatile as students, and that they can actually study and really show a lot of academic potential in different areas. Grades in AP courses, most colleges will give it a boost, where again, GPA is very important in the admissions process as well. Well, AP courses and honors courses will get a bump up, generally if you score a C or above. And so that's how you have students with GPAs well above 4.0, because if they're taking a lot of AP or honors courses, they will, again, get that grade bump up. It allows them to demonstrate subject mastery, okay? Not just, again, high school level academics, but college level. Okay, and then the last thing, again, AP exams, again, one of the big bonuses of it is that, yes, it's a test, but you're also, if you pass it, you can earn college credit. And that is a very big advantage, especially if you're taking courses maybe outside of your major. Many students, can actually go into college with at least a semester, if not sometimes up to 1 year of credit. And so you've got the savings on time, the savings of money, and you can really, when you're in college, focus on your area of your major, and really, get those courses in there. Plus, if you take a lot of AP exams, okay, then you can win and be awarded several AP Scholar Awards. And again, those are very prestigious, and they look very good on your college application. So those are all areas that the APs will support your college application.
Okay, great. And we have a pretty relevant question from an audience member who is wondering, can you take the same AP course more than once if your first grade isn't good? Just because it can help boost your GPA.
Generally, you can, just like any other class. Again, colleges will see that, and so you can do it. Obviously, the recommendation, of course, is always to do well the first time through, but if you need to take it again, you can retake an AP exam again as well. And so you can do both.
Okay, sounds pretty flexible.
And
okay, so, oh yeah, it sounds like, APs are great. Should students just sign up for as many as possible?
Yeah. So here's some of the myths on, and you sometimes you think, well, if 1 or 2 is good, then more is better. And so, but that's not necessarily the case. All right. And colleges can tell if you're there just, signing up for a lot of AP exams, you're not taking the class. Actually, the colleges want to see you taking the class. Passing the exam is good, but really what is better is actually taking the class and passing the test. Even if you take the class and you don't pass the exam, colleges look favorably upon that, because it shows that you are stretching yourself and you're trying to challenge yourself and do more. But they know that the rigor of college work is in the classwork. And so it's not just the fact that, oh, okay, I went and I took the test and I happened to pass it, but it's what they're really looking for is a student who is willing to do college level work, put in that rigor, go through the curriculum, and then take the exam. And so again, taking the exam is important. Taking the class is even more important. And therefore it's important that you don't take too many, because you can actually, hurt yourself. You're taking so many of these college level classes. Remember, in college, generally, if you're taking, 3 or 4 classes, that's a full load. And yet we have some students who want to take 5 or 6 AP classes as a high school student, and they're really, really, pushing it. And so we don't recommend, doing that. We don't recommend just taking a lot of AP exams just to take it. All right, but it's important to do the coursework, and I think that that's what the colleges want to see. And so, if you can't take all of the AP exams, select the ones that, again, that are interesting you the most, the ones that you will feel comfortable in, those are the classes that you want to study. Because again, these are good preparation for your college classes. Many times, some AP classes, if you're in your major, for instance, if you're going to be a chemistry major and you take AP Chem, the college or the chemistry department in college will not accept the AP exam coursework, and they want you to take the coursework there. Still, the AP exam and the course is very valuable for getting into the college in the first place. And second, you can't get any better preparation than to be taking college level material as a high school student before you take the class again in college. So definitely, choose the courses that are in your interest, that you really would feel comfortable, really dedicating a lot of time and effort to do it. So again, it's important, take the courses and the quantity that you can handle. Don't overdo it, because it's important that while you take these courses, it's important to show that you're successful in doing that as well.
Sure, thank you for that information. I'm seeing we have quite a few questions on APs. So since we're on the subject, do you mind if we go through a few audience questions before moving on to the next part?
Sure, be glad to.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so one here would be, what if the student's school does not offer APs, but rather honors classes? Should the student independently take AP tests?
Yes, that's, again, taking an AP test versus not taking an AP test is better. Obviously, if you can take the class, that is good. So honors level classes are good as well. But even if you could take an AP class online or taking it through, another school, that will offer that class, but the colleges also understand that not every school offers AP classes, and so they will not hold it against you. But again, if you can do it, it's definitely to your advantage to do it.
Okay, and kind of along those same lines, another audience member asked, AP versus IB. So what if parents are choosing between schools? What's the difference and which one might be better?
Sure. Okay. So the IB, the International Baccalaureate, is very similar to the AP in the sense that, except that it is built into the curriculum. And so it is a very high level curriculum that students go through. They take the IB examinations, and then many schools will accept passing the IB exams for college credit, just like they will do for the AP exams. And so really, doing the IB is very similar to a student taking AP classes, at another school. It really, I think, it is a matter of personal preference. The IB is a little bit more prescriptive in terms of the classes that you take, whereas AP, I think, offers a little bit more variety. But I think it really probably, like you mentioned, it's the school and what school you'll feel comfortable with, and if that's where you'll flourish, then whether you're doing the IB or the AP, I think you will do well. It's just whatever school environment that you'll do well in.
Okay, so along those same lines of talking about many different choices with APs, sometimes the choices can actually be quite overwhelming since there are so many. So another audience member asked, how do you balance between showing versatility with APs versus like really focusing on those APs that are related to what you're interested in? What should you prioritize?
And so that's a very good question, and I don't know if there's a correct way to answer that. The way I advise students, and you'll notice that my background is actually in law, and when in law you present a case or you present a story, and I tell students, when you do your college application, you're presenting a story about yourself, and when you're designing your academic record, it should tell a story. And so is what you're trying to show the colleges that you are a super candidate for engineering, and therefore you want to show the math and the hard sciences and the computer science, and those are the things that then you would focus on? Or are you trying to show them that you're a great leader, and therefore you want to show a breadth of classes because you're trying to present the fact that you have very strong leadership skills or people skills, and therefore you want to show a variety of talents and abilities? And so really, I think that's a great question. It depends on each student and what story they really want to tell, which requires them to really do some self-reflection and say, well, how really am I best going to present myself to this college?
Sure. Yeah, tough decisions there. Okay, so another very relevant question that's related to both subject tests and APs. What if students already took a bunch of subject tests and maybe scored 800 on them or got really high scores? Could they be used in replacement of APs? Could they replace those?
Well,
Or,
yeah, good test scores are nothing, they're always good. So, I mean, the more things that you can include to make your case and strengthen your case, I mean, you should use it. And so if you already have strong test scores, definitely use them. But if you can, get those AP scores, in, I would use it because, again, the subject exams are not, going to be as widely accepted as before. And so depending on the different college, I think, again, that the trend definitely is towards AP. And so while you've got those great scores, that's great. But, if you can move and take some APs, and I would definitely do that.
sure. So it sounds like those students should still take those APs if possible.
Yeah, I have this one. I have two questions from the Q&A part. So one student asked is, what about I take classes in the junior college or universities instead of high school AP classes? Do I need to do AP test for those classes?
No, actually, if you're taking it from an accredited college, and those will count and give you college credit. And so, that's fine. All right. And so you don't have to take, if you take in Chem 1A at, the local community college, you don't need to take the AP Chem, exam. Again, the only thing is that if that's the way you want to go, then that's fine. There is a slight thing that you need to be a little bit careful depending on different colleges of how many college classes you take, because then if you actually have too many, some colleges will actually consider you more of a transfer student rather than a new admit, and there will be slightly different admissions rules. So, check on that just to make sure that, it doesn't cause a problem if you're a very high achieving student and you're taking a lot of classes at a community college, then it could actually change your whole admissions process.
Okay, yeah.
Sure, those are some good things to keep in mind. And then another question. Okay, so since we're talking about GPA and that GPA boost you get from APs and also like community college courses, if you do well in those courses. So what do colleges value more, the weighted GPA or unweighted?
It varies by college. Most colleges will look at the weighted GPA, but there are some that will only look at an unweighted GPA. Although again, they see your courses, and so they're going to look at it. And again, that's part of where their understanding of your school, and they know that some schools are much tougher, and they can see, hey, well, this person has a 3.8 GPA, but wow, they took 4 or 5 AP exams, so it's still 3.8. But I think they're going to look at that, and they are going to give that student a little bit more of an advantage just by knowing the rigor of the classes that they're taking.
Okay, sure. So it seems very contextual.
Yes.
Okay, I think those are most of the questions related to AP courses for now. We can answer more of the SAT ones later. So perhaps we could hear a little bit about taking AP courses at California Crosspoint Academy.
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity to share very briefly about the school that I am head of. And really, when it comes to taking AP courses, it's not just my school. This is true for all schools, but it's very important. Again, the emphasis is not on taking the exam. The emphasis is on taking the class. And so when it comes to taking the class, obviously, it's the quality of the teacher and the quality of the classmates. And so if you are saying, well, I want to take AP Physics, or I want to take an AP Spanish class, or whatever you want to take, it's great to take an online class, but you should also look and see, well, what's the level of the classmates that are taking, you know, that class, as well as the teacher, because again, that gives you the whole real AP experience. And, you know, are you taking a class really with college level teachers and college level students? And that's the most important thing. Other things that are very important is that, you know, are the classes WASC accredited? Western Association of Schools and Colleges is the regional accrediting agency. They should be, all right, but just, you know, double check, because again, almost all AP classes are accredited almost automatically, but you want to make sure that that is done. The same thing with the UC admissions course approval. That's sometimes referred to as the A to G list. Again, AP classes are almost always just automatically accepted, but you want to make sure that the school has gone through the process of getting those courses approved through the UC A to G list, and so therefore you'll get a credit for them when you apply to a UC or for WASC, that the other colleges will recognize it. And finally, college board approved is that every AP course actually goes through an audit that the college board has each teacher do. And so again, make sure that the course has been audited by the college board and approved, so that you will get full credit for it.
Okay, so sounds like a lot of benefits of taking AP courses through Crosspoint Academy. Mm-hmm. And now, how about just a little bit of information about CCA?
Yeah, just very, you know, briefly. I mean, just some things about our school. But if you want to find out more, you can go to our website, which is crosspointacademy.org. But again, our school is a very highly academic. We're a two-time blue ribbon school. We rank among the top 0.5% We offer, I think, 20 AP courses. Although we're relatively small, our high school is you know, about 260 students. And so we have quite a few AP students who are taking, again, 3 to 4 AP exams every year. And they're, you know, winning AP scholarships, and it's just doing very well. But, you know, again, the main thing is, you know, you want a school that is going to support the students. And that's something that I think that's what we value the most, is that we want to reach out and support all students. You know, you don't have to be an elite student. We strive to essentially develop each student to their full potential. So not every student is going to necessarily, you know, be the top student or whatever, but we want every student to achieve the very best that they can. And that is our goal as a school. And so, again, if you're just interested in knowing more about a school, you know, welcome you to check out our website. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing that information. Sounds like a really wonderful school. Okay, so now back to the college application process. You know, we just talked a lot about tests, especially APs. So what about those other aspects like leadership, internships, etc.? Cathy, could you maybe give us more insights about that?
Yeah, actually, if for the standard test, we only can offer the AP test and the SAT as the optional, maybe other part of the college admission will be more important than ever. So such as a leadership and internship, and if you have some research experience, you have some volunteer experience, or you have some writing skills and achievement about that one. So yeah, as for each one, and we will have you do something or do some project to show you have the experience. So actually, we name it as the soft factors. So all of this one. And for the hard factors, maybe we can show the college we have test a very high school. Yeah. So, and for Harmony Plus, we can help you to enhance your soft factors.
Absolutely. So here are some examples of how we can help students enhance their soft skills, the soft factors, as we could say. So one way would be ETIC, also known as this very long name here, Extracurricular Activity, Training and Internship Club. And actually, we just had 2 events for this today. Okay, so some reasons to join this. You can enhance your college applications. You can do more activities, find more internships and things like that. So this will not only enhance your resume, but you'll also have some interesting things to write about in your college essays, which also have increased in importance now that standardized tests are not playing as critical of a role as they did before. We offer many exclusive activity and internship opportunities. We send out our opportunity pages at least bi-monthly, and sometimes we have some special ones in between those bi-monthly opportunity newsletters as well. Then we also have workshops twice a month in which we teach students things like creating a resume, writing a cover letter, many things like that, those practical skills. We also have many projects that students can do, and then they can collaborate with other high achieving students. Actually, today we just kicked off the climate change research project. So, I was the advisor in the meeting. I just talked for like the first 10 minutes, then I turned my camera off and just let the students go. There's just so much energy, and it was really, really amazing. So we have a lot of student-driven projects that they can work on. And then we also have leadership positions that students can gain in the club. So like president, vice president, also project leader. So we definitely want this to be very student-focused. And then Harmony Plus is certified to record students' hours as they accumulate them, and then eventually they can receive the President's Volunteer Service Award. So we can certify hours for that. Then we also have some intensive summer research programs. So this is our data strategy program. It is 5 weeks long for students who are in grades 9 through 12 with a star professor, Professor Greg LeBlanc from the Haas School of Business at Berkeley. So as you can see, he has a very impressive background. And the students really do lots of hands-on data science research in this. So they get something really tangible at the end that they can show on their college applications. And also getting a recommendation from a professor like Greg LeBlanc is definitely a very, very valuable thing. Okay, then we also have Kaggle. Okay, so this is a data science competition. It's a pretty advanced thing for high school students, but in the past we've had quite a few students win medals in this. And this is a very special training program. It's very rare for high school students to have this kind of opportunity. So this is definitely something that can really shine on college applications. Okay, then we also have writing classes. So, writing, college essays, and just in general, you might need to submit some writing samples for college applications as well. So our instructors can provide a lot of great feedback in many aspects of writing, like word choice, logic, content structure, etc. And then we also have future planning. Okay, so what exactly is this? Well, we want to help students, shoot towards the moon to achieve their goals, in their personal life, career, etc. So here are some different services within future planning. So we can help with private school applications, academic and extracurricular enhancement, college application essay services, of course. That also would include transfer and grad school. We have essay writing workshops, such as the UC Essay Bootcamp. We can also help with summer program applications. If students would prefer one-on-one, we can also do one-on-one essay editing and interview training. And then ETIC, that club I just mentioned, as well as the Future Leader Academy, also fall under the future planning umbrella. Okay, so one of the cornerstones of our future planning is our 9th to 11th grade service. So the main bare bones objective here is to help students build a personalized, competitive application profile. Okay, so we include all of these different aspects in this service, very comprehensive. Okay, and then for students who are in their application year, whether that be when they're in 12th grade applying for undergrad, also transfer in grad school, we want to help package students and present them in the best light possible. Okay, and then these are the things that would be included in these sorts of packages, everything from essays to coming up with a strategy. So we can help with all of that. And then, if those comprehensive packages aren't needed and just more of like one-on-one essay editing and interview training would be more suitable for students, we can do that as well. Okay, so essay editing definitely shouldn't be something that's just done the night before the application is due, right? It's a process of brainstorming, outlining, editing. So we can help with all that for sure. We also can help students with like proctored writing training just to get used to being in that test setting, training for interviews. And also if students need to do video supplements, which is becoming something that's needed, we can also give students a little support with that. Okay, and then we make very professional schedules here to really make sure that we're staying on track and that we're doing as much as we can to really polish everything. Okay, and then we have a promotion, so maybe Cathy can introduce this.
Yeah, actually, in Harmony Plus have the WeChat group. So we have 8 WeChat groups. If you join that group, and maybe you can get every week our seminar information and other education information there. So for example, for this week, we have 4 events only in this week. So every week we have at least 1 event. And then for all the students, we offer the a strong test, and which kinds of personality and career interest in test. If you invite 10 friends to our group, so we will offer you a free test, a strong test for you. So you can scan this QR code and join our WeChat groups, or you can scan the right one and then contact our Ni Lao Shi, which is our WeChat and the account, and then we can set up a free test for you. Yeah.
Okay, sounds like a great opportunity. And now I'm very glad that we got done with the spiel early because now we have lots of questions. So I think we can answer some of those. Okay, so in the Q&A, we have some questions about PSAT. So is the PSAT still used for national merit scholarships? And are there any changes with the PSAT, or is that just the SAT?
The PSAT has not changed. I mean, in form, it is actually our students are taking it this Tuesday, and it's obviously a different date because of COVID, and they've kept pushing it back, and things like that. But if you still can take it, it is still used for the National Merit Scholarship, and so it is definitely good preparation for the SAT, as well as a good way to get your name out there if you do very well to top competitive colleges.
Okay, so not too many changes with that. Okay, other questions? Oh yes, SAT versus ACT. So what are the differences, and what should a student take?
Well, okay, so I will generally advise students to try to take both. Again, I think out here in the West Coast, SATs are more popular. Back on the East Coast, the ACTs is more popular. What I have heard is that the SAT is more of although they change the name, it is still more of an aptitude, which means they're not testing you on subject matter knowledge as your ability to take information and manipulate it. So it's not necessarily, the way I phrase it, not necessarily testing as much for how smart you are, but how clever you are. And the ACT is more, how much information you have learned and how much you have retained. And so some students, generally most students do about the same on both, but every once in a while you'll find a student who does much better on one versus the other. And so especially if you're not happy with your score on one, I would encourage you to go ahead and take the other one just to see if you would do better on that type of format.
Okay. Right. Ms. Hong, a student asked a very interesting question. It said the students have already taken the SAT subject test and the score is very high. Can it be used in placement of APs?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a replacement. Again, a good score is good, and definitely use it any way that you can. But if you can do an AP exam, then that's even better. Okay, so I wouldn't just rely on say, well, I've got good subject exam scores, so I'm gonna bypass an AP class. Again, the advantage of the AP class or the AP exam is that you can earn college credit. So even beyond the college admissions consideration, there's the considerations of earning college credit as well as being prepared for college, not just getting into college.
Sure. Okay, and then we're getting a few questions about the PSAT here. I guess lots of people are curious about that now that we had one question in that area. Okay, so someone asked, if you scored 1570 on the SAT, should you still take the PSAT?
I mean, if you're doing well on the SAT, I mean, again, the PSAT you can use for the National Merit Scholarship, and so I mean, it doesn't hurt to take it. But I mean, I don't know if it's quote unquote necessary if you're already scoring obviously very high on the SAT. So for college admissions purposes, obviously your SAT is going to take precedent. The PSAT is not going to. PSAT does open some doors, and it doesn't hurt for you to take it, but that's really up to you. But again, my personal philosophy is take every advantage of every opportunity that you have to make a good impression. And so PSAT, SAT, ACT, hey, these are all opportunities that you have to make a strong case. So take advantage of as many of them as you can.
Sure, so still need to do quite a bit of testing, it seems like. Okay, now another question about the PSAT. So someone asked, the SAT essay section is canceled. So will the PSAT essay section be canceled in the future?
I know they didn't announce that, so that's a good question. I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. Yeah, I'll have to see. Again, I know our students are taking it this Tuesday, but I don't know which version it is, because I think we received our test materials before they announced the cancellation. So I don't know. I would imagine if the SAT doesn't have it, eventually the PSAT is going to remove it as well.
Okay, so not sure yet, but perhaps. Okay, then two other people asked, can the SAT qualify for National Merit Scholarship, so just the PSAT?
Okay, my understanding is that it's only the PSAT, and it's when you're taking it as a junior. I don't know. I've never heard of anybody qualifying for the national merit through their SAT scores, but I don't know. I mean, I suppose you could look that up, but offhand, I think it's just PSAT in your junior year.
Okay. Sure. I believe that was the standard in the past. A parent is saying that the SAT qualifies this year.
Oh,
so
okay. Wow.
Perhaps with COVID, things are always changing. So
yeah, I know, because I know many schools are not offering the PSAT because of COVID. So a lot of the public schools aren't open, and so they couldn't take the PSAT. So that would make sense.
Sure. So then someone else said, just like what you said, okay, they canceled the PSAT at my school. How could I take that?
Yeah.
What should I do?
Well, yeah, you can't take it. So then you're going to have to try to do your SAT. And I know a lot of those are getting canceled as well. And so I know for our school, what we're doing is we're doing in-school testing for that reason. Is the College Board lets us host the SAT, but unfortunately it's only for our students. But because so many of our students have saying they've gone out and registered, and they can't take it because it keeps getting canceled. So we're doing an in-school administration. So maybe you can talk to your school administration to see if they would be willing to host, an SAT administration, even just for, a smaller number of students who want to do that.
Sure. Yeah, really tough situation with the testing last year, no, this year for students. Okay, and then someone had a logistical question that I'll just answer quickly. Are we going to send or post the slides? Normally we do not send the slides. However, the recording of this webinar will be online on YouTube and Facebook, so feel free to see the slides that way. Okay, I think that's most of the questions. Are there any questions that I missed? Are there any last minute questions from anyone?
I think there were one more question regarding the SAT subject test. It's at Cambridge University, which is in UK, requires either 3 APs or 3 subject tests. Is it still that case?
Yeah, I wouldn't know that offhand. I would, again, just go online and look it up and see, or talk to admissions officer there and see if they've made any changes with now this new announcement by the College Board.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they normally accept A levels, and yeah, it makes sense to accept APs, I guess. Probably not SAT subject tests in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one more question, so this will be the last question before we wrap up. What substitutes for the SAT essay since it was canceled?
I think it's just a regular SAT with no essay.
Okay, so not really a substitute, just this is
Right.
just what it is now. Sure. Okay, well, without further ado, thank you so much, Robin, for joining us today. It was really an honor to have you as a guest speaker, and you were so informative, really great. So yeah, shout out to you and Crosspoint Academy. And thank you, Cathy, as well. And of course, to our audience members for listening. So if you have further questions, feel free to contact us by phone or scan this QR code. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.